Good morning, super friends, and welcome to the Monday, January 12th edition of the Sacred News and Weather. I'm absolutely delighted to have you here with me. I am in the wee small hours of the morning, which is becoming a trend. Not sure why exactly. I've been awake at 3 a.m., but that's been my MO for the last several days, so I'm just taking advantage of the quiet. It's not 3 a.m. now, it's a little after 6 that I'm recording this to be with you. And the message I have today feels a little more personal than what I normally bring here. I usually save the sharing of my own experience for my smaller group containers. Uh, but I feel like you're probably going to get a healthy dose of what's happening for me personally because I feel like, or at least I was told that there is something here for all of you today, or whenever you're tuning in to this message. So there is a small chance that as I record this, I might choose not to publish it. But if you're seeing it, know that I'm feeling the feels and doing it anyway. So, without any further ado, I am going to just give you my little preamble, which is as with everything I do here, take what resonates, leave the rest behind. These messages are timeless. So, if you are receiving it today, January 12th, 2026, awesome. If you are tuning in at a later date, know that there's probably going to be something here for you, regardless of time and space. And if there isn't, if you're not finding anything that's for you, go ahead and turn me off. I won't be offended. There are plenty more messages down below on this playlist, and there will be plenty more to come. So, closing my eyes and just letting you know that I heard several phrases this morning, both in my meditation for myself and in my meditation for all of you. They were parallel, which is why I feel like I'm going to be getting vulnerable. And the first thing I heard was detach from the outcome, never from the love. Detach from the outcome, not from the love itself. You know, and here's where I just feel it in my heart so so deeply, and I want to turn this off and start over again and choose a new topic, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Mm. I'm in the business of radical truth telling in order to give you permission to speak your radical truth. I don't believe that we are meant to bury stuff, hide, put away our feelings, our messy selves. I feel like the way we heal, the way we fix what's happening out in the world is to reveal our messes, to hold them up. And as we hold them up, we can sometimes realize that the very things that we were burying in shame are actually a whole lot less shameful, a whole lot less painful when we can take them out of the places that we've been storing them and just air them out. It's like when we don't have to hold it so tightly, when we can be like, look at my shit. It can be really freeing. And that is the whole point. That is the whole goal here is really getting the shit out so we can be free. Let go of the outcome, not the love. I was talking with my dear one, Eden, my partner in business, my mirror in so much of life. And we were talking about what has been happening in the world, which is making us all wobble, making me wobble. And I am someone who genuinely actively chooses to not hold my joy for ransom, not to not get caught up in worldly events to the extent that I can't feel my own joy, because the joy is where the magic comes from. The joy is what begets more joy. And so if we ransom out our joy for some future time, for some future date, we deprive ourselves of joy in the present moment. And I'm not sure where that came from, but I'm going with it. I'm going to see if I can find my original train of thought, but maybe this is the train of thought that I meant to follow. That being able to not delay joy, to not delay gratification, to not delay the love and the joy that is rightfully ours in the present moment, because we think we don't deserve it. We feel we don't deserve it. We feel so much is happening in the world that we have to keep it from ourselves so that we can stay in the pain and feel the pain of the world so that we can understand it. And that's not what we're actually supposed to be doing. We are supposed to be allowing love, allowing all of the love to move through us, allowing all of the joy to come in, and to not delay that in order to be able to hold what is happening out in the world. Here's where I was. Here's where I was. I was talking to Eden, and we were talking about Minnesota, and we were talking about what Renee Good said to the ICE officer. We were talking about, I'm not even mad at you, and the response of fucking bitch before he blew her head off. I'm sorry for the vulgar reference, but it's real, and it's real in my nervous system. And it's real in my nervous system because it's present, and I'm trying to move it through, and I'm trying to move through all of the ways that we have wounded our men so that their response to a woman saying, I'm not even mad at you, isn't fucking bitch and I'm going to blow your head off, isn't fuck off, isn't to hell with you, isn't like this radical pushing away of that radical acceptance of our radical love, of our unconditional love. And why have we gotten here? Why is this happening? And if you hang around with me long enough, you'll know that I always get to the place of, well, the why doesn't matter so much as the how we shift it. So we can spend a lot of time thinking about the why is this happening? But the the invitation is actually to go underneath it to the how do I shift it? I'm pausing because I don't want to say what I'm being told that I'm supposed to say. I want to like protect my heart, but I think that's just it. We're not actually supposed to be protecting our hearts right now, and our wounded children, our fearful parts want us to tune our attention to the wounding and want to shut us down. Uh, if you follow the tree of life, if you know the tree of life at all, and you hang around with me long enough, you know that I teach to attune ourselves to our hearts, to Tiferet, to the center of the trunk of the tree, to the big I, to the truth in the tree of life. The heart is the truth, the great truth teller. It is gold. It is the uncorruptible element. And we are often tuned to our wounded child. We are often tuned to our wounded roots. And so we're being invited to, in order to hold what's happening out in the world, we're being invited to attune our satellite dishes to our hearts and to stay in our heart centers, detach from the outcome, but not from the love. Our wounded children are spinning in the outcome of and in the fear of what if it doesn't look like what it's supposed to look like? What if it doesn't turn out the way I want it to? What if it's all going to shit? It attunes to the fear, and we're being invited to attune to the heart, attune to the love, and to remember the love, the unconditional love that we have in our hearts, knowing that if we, each one of us, each time we choose to attune to our hearts, there is some frequency that is palpable to our wounded masculines, not the divine masculine, not the wounded, not the divine masculine, not the divine feminine, but the wounded masculines from the patriarchy. The wounds, our men are wounded from the patriarchy that we like to claim empowers them. But the truth of the matter is the reason why a man says fuck you when you are offering unconditional love, even if it's messy, even if it's like, I'm not mad at you, dude, and you're kind of going at him and saying, look, I'm not changing my license plate. Look, I'm not doing this. I'm not mad at you. Let me go, dude. Let me go. I'm not even mad at you, fucking bitch. The reason why that has happened is because we have had a narrative for 2,000 years that has said that we can lord over another. We can lord over the land. We can lord over another person's experience. And we were never meant to lord over anyone. We were never meant to get grabby about power. We were never meant to get grabby about control. What we were meant to do was attune ourselves to love, to our hearts, to spirit, which dwells inside this heart space, and to recognize that when we are attuned there, everyone is in balance. Everyone gets to be attuned. Everyone feels that frequency. But when there is this undercurrent, when there is this narrative of there is not enough, and the only way that I can have power is if I squash everyone else's, the only way I can have control over myself, over my experience, is if I crush yours, then what we get is a crushed humanity. And that's where we are right now. The idea that there is not enough love, not enough abundance, not enough food, not enough housing, not enough resources to go around is a toxic patriarchal idea. And it is sucking the life force out of our men. It is sucking the life force out of our women. It is sucking the life force out of humanity. And the only way we can fix it is with more love. It's the only way. And I keep going into these other places to avoid the place that I'm being told to go because I don't want to, but I'm going to have to. I can always edit it out. Some of you are experiencing rupture in relationship right now. For some of you, it's romantic relationship. For some of you, it's friendship. For some of you, it is just family. Like there's rupture in relationship right now. And it's all the way out there. Part of it is what's been going on astrologically this weekend, and I'm not an astrologer, but there have been some really hard clashes of planets, some really tender clashing. Chiron is bumping up against Venus. The wounded healer is bumping up against the planet of love. Hi, here I am. There's just a lot happening. There was a lot happening this weekend, and it coincides with what's happening out in the world. In these ruptures, when I pull the camera back, and I'm experiencing one as well, and it's been devastating because there is so much love. And when there is so much love, and I think this is true for many of you out here in my community, when there is so much love present, when it is stirring and moving in us so deeply, there's almost this feeling of it's not even almost, there can be this feeling of like, what if it goes away? Like, what if it's not real? What if it goes away? And we go from that love, from that swirling, from that depth, from that wellness and well-being and that feeling of being seen and held and adored. We go from, what if this gets taken away from me, into this place of fear. We go from to ferret on the tree of life back into Yesod, or down into the root, into all of that wounding from the places where love left us, from the places in our lifetime or past lifetimes, ancestral lines where we had all of that love available to us and it was cut. And so sometimes when we're feeling that love so deeply, we go to that fear of, what if I lose it? And so we sabotage. We sabotage. We go into the fear, and the fear sends us spinning, and the fear makes us communicate poorly. The fear makes us go into that place of self-protection, when all we're protecting ourselves from is the hurt of losing that love. But the truth of the matter is that the love is not going to go away. We just forget. We forget that it exists already inside of us. And what we're being invited to do is to touch in and remember that we already have all of that love inside of us to begin with. And we just need to find it. But it gets really difficult to find when people are losing their lives, when the world is falling apart. And when you look at someone with so much love, and in the next beat, you're like, what if it goes away? Because your wounding has told you that love goes away. The patriarchy, the toxic patriarchy, has taught us that love is scarce and we need to be grabby about it. We need to just pull it all into us and hold it so tightly, or just let it go because we're only going to get hurt. For those of you who are going through rupture, I can feel where you're tempted to go outside of yourself and look at, what is this other person doing? What are these people doing? Where, like, what needs to be fixed out here in order for me to feel safe and good? But that's not how it works. That's not how it actually works. What we're being invited into is recognizing that the only place that anything, any relationship can be fixed is in here, is in our own hearts. What needs to shift in here so that I can see through the lens of love? Now, that doesn't mean putting a target on yourself either. It doesn't mean making yourself vulnerable to something that is inherently never going to be safe for you. But that's not what I'm seeing here. That's not what I'm experiencing when I'm talking about the rupture of relationship that many of you are experiencing. I'm not seeing anything particularly truly unsafe. I'm not seeing somebody getting their head blown off. I'm not seeing somebody being thrown a punch. So if this is you, this is not your message, or at least not your part of this message. If you are in danger in any way, shape, or form, this is not your message. Your message is get to safety, love yourself well enough to get yourself to safety. But if you are feeling unsafe because you love so much and you don't trust it, you're being asked to look inside of yourself to determine what you need to do for yourself to feel safe, to give and receive love, to hold it inside of you and to move it from you. I recognized this weekend that my own rupture was coming from that place of, oh my goodness, I feel so much. I love so much. What if it gets taken away? And then the fear took over, and all of the fear and the wounding took over. And I was moving from a place of trying to protect myself, of trying to save myself, rather than coming from a place of love. And I believe my person was doing the very same thing. I could hear his fear, and I could see my own. I could see the way that I was trying to stay open and to move from a place of love, but I could see where I was getting stuck and I couldn't push through. And I could see where his fear was getting him stuck and he couldn't push through. And it's not a lack of love, it's fear. And it is fear that has created the rift that we have in our society, in the world right now. It is fear that drives people to grab power and money and resources. It is fear that makes us feel not enough and unworthy. It's fear. It's fear that what we want at the end of some timeline isn't going to come to fruition, so we better protect ourselves now. But not having love, not allowing love to move through you and from you, not allowing yourself to experience joy in the present moment for fear of losing it in the future, cutting it off, cutting off love, cutting off joy because you're afraid that the outcome won't be joyful or loving because what you've only known of love has fallen apart, has gone up in flames. You're being invited to remember that the love that you need, the love that you desire, the love that is available to move further in and further from you, the love that's going to save your relationships, the love that's going to save the world, already exists inside of you. There's so much more I could say, but I think I'm going to leave it here. I love you all. Go forth and have a beautiful day. Please like and share and subscribe. I'll see you soon, Wednesday-ish.